Exonation, Mark McCandlish is our special guest, www.markmccandlish.com. Mark, we were talking about a newspaper article before we went to the break, so tell us about it.
Well, this was the Record Searchlight here in Reading. You can find it at reading.com. The particular issue I'm talking about is Tuesday, August 5th, 2014. The headline is Crews Attempt Iranian Fires. The subtitle, subheadline is Intermountain Blazes Burn 100 Square Miles. Now, below that, there's a diagram of the fire area up in the vicinity of Bernie, California. Mm-hmm. And what I was mentioning before about precipitating lightning strikes using laser beams, they have a graph showing all the different lightning strikes that occurred during the thunderstorm that passed through this area. And each one of the red dots where these lightning strikes occur, this looks like a checkerboard pattern, Rob. I mean, it's almost a perfect graphic with lines that run north and south and lines that run east and west at evenly spaced intervals. And I defy any meteorologist to tell me that this is typical of what you would find in a cumulonimbus weather system with lightning strikes coming down, putting down a perfect checkerboard pattern of lightning strike.
So how do we explain it?
Well, like I was saying before the break, physicist Michio Kaku was talking about how you could actually send a laser beam up through storm clouds and create an ionization path that would actually make it easier. Charged particles that are left behind would make it easier for the lightning strike to follow the path of the laser beam back down to the ground. But it works in both directions. You can do it from the sky. Now, back in the late 80s, early 1990s, I worked with Boeing and Rockwell International, who were competitors in the airborne laser program. They actually produced a chemical laser that was put into a modular form and rolled into the belly of a 747, had a huge turret on the front of it that looked like a giant glass eyeball. And this thing could shoot a laser beam hundreds of miles. And of course, the higher you go in the atmosphere, the further it'll go because the air is thinner. It'll propagate much further. But shooting straight down to the ground is something, I mean, the system was actually designed that it could be compacted down into the belly of a C-130, which is something that you often see being flown by the California Department of Forestry and Firefighting. So it's not unlike, it's not impossible for a system of this type to be installed in an aircraft and then used to physically begin stimulating lightning strikes and then precipitate a much larger fire. So you can see how, I mean, if you want to talk about conspiracy theories, I mean, what better way, and people scoff and laugh at you and say, chemtrails, conspiracy theorists, you don't know what you're talking about. But when you look at the ingredients that are in these chemtrails that have been analyzed, you see barium salt, you see strontium, aluminum oxide in nanoparticles as part of what they call nanothermate. It's a microscopical set of particles, and we're talking about things that are smaller than a red blood cell. And the reason that these chemical these particles are so significant is because when you reduce these kinds of materials down to a tremendously small size, you're vastly increasing the surface area for which a chemical reaction can propagate through the material. It's the same as if you say try to light a match to a log and it takes forever to get it started, but if you turn that log into sawdust and you throw it up in the air and toss a match in the middle of it, it's like a fuel air explosive. Yeah. It's very destructive.
Mark, I hate to do this, pal, but we're out of time for tonight. I want to thank you so much for joining us. It's always great having you. We'll have to do a special 2-segment show with you one night.
I'd love that.
Well, we'll make it happen, and I'll have our people contact you, and we'll work something out.
Thank you, Rob. I appreciate the time.
My pleasure, sir. Mark McCandlish has been our guest this hour. www.markmccandlish.com. I'll be back on the other side of the news at 6.5 minutes past the top of the hour as the X Zone continues with yours truly, Rob McConnell. Don't go away.